Thanks so much for joining us today, Therese. I've got an issue with accountants when they become licensed in that they have to set up a separate company and they're having some issues with branding, and I just wondered, as our marketing and communications manager at Licensing for Accountants, whether you might be able to help me with some ideas for them.
Sure. I mean, it's an area that they may not have thought of, especially because there's many other things to consider with licensing, but branding and what their business model is and what it will be going forward is very important.
Yeah, it's certainly they are caught up in the licensing decision, and then when they become appointed, they suddenly realise they need to set up a separate company. And can you just take us through some of the options that they've got to do that?
Sure. I mean, going back to their business model, it depends on are they going to be a parent company with some other companies underneath, or maybe they'll have a sister company relationship. I guess you don't want it to be a daunting experience. If they've already got a logo and a business name, they may be able to, through a graphic designer, work on that. So a good example of just say a parent company is the Virgin brand, and how they've applied that with a similar look and feel to other companies such as Virgin Money, Virgin Australia, Virgin Mobile. So that's one approach. The other approach could be through the name. For example, if it was Bowler Accounting, you might also have a sister company which is Bowler Financial Planning.
So Therese, another challenge that accountants have is the use of logos. They sometimes have their own logo, their professional body logo, their licensee logo, maybe several professional body logos. Have you got any suggestions on how to deal with that? Because it can get very busy on their documentation.
Yes, and you really don't want it to be busy on documentation, and you want to make sure that your logo is the most prominent. So I believe that there is a requirement that if you display your licensee logo, it needs to be the same size. But if you've got a choice, when considering what you display, I would probably put the professional body logos above maybe the licensee logo in some instances. This is because quite often the licensee logo doesn't resonate with the client. They may not even know who they are. So that could be appropriate for more formal documentation, and having the professional bodies gives extra credibility that obviously clients know that there's professional standards that the accountant is adhering to. So I would display those. I'd also be choosy about where I display them. You may not need to display, all those logos on every piece of paraphernalia. Some may be better off for your website, whereas your letterhead, you have the option to be a bit more selective.
Thanks so much for your help today, Therese. So as I understand it, try and keep it simple because they've got a lot to deal with. Look at either a parent company logo like the Virgin model or sister company logos, and be quite selective in which logos you use in terms of professional bodies, licensee logos.
Yeah. And don't look at it as a daunting task because you may not have to reinvent the wheel. There's many opportunities to work with what you've already got, and make sure that you're communicating really clearly with your clients and not confusing them.
Wonderful. Thanks for your help.
Great. Thanks, Kat.